Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there was an evil villain who was so evil that he had even corrupted the king and had taken over the entire kingdom. And only a true hero could defeat him, but the problem was there was no hero. That is until one young boy discovered he was destined to save the world. Our story begins with a young farm boy named Finn. He lived on a farm outside of the kingdom with his little sister and his parents. They were poor but happy until one night when some soldiers came to their house looking for Finn. Turns out the king had put a bounty on Finn's head, believing him to be a hero who would come and save the kingdom. You see, an old hermit had predicted the coming of a hero who would defeat the evil villain. The king had heard this and assumed it was Finn because he was the right age. But really, the prophecy was about a much more powerful wizard named Ignis. However, Ignis was still just a baby when the king's soldiers came to his home looking for him. So Ignis's mother hid him away and told the soldiers that he wasn't there. So they left with no baby wizard. Ignis grew up believing his name was Finn. And now, years later, the king's soldiers had found Finn, believing him to be the hero. When they told Finn why they had come, he laughed at them and told them he was just a simple farm boy. But the soldiers insisted that he had to come with them. So they took Finn to the kingdom where the king greeted him as his hero. But Finn still insisted that he was just a simple farm boy. So the king brought in his royal mage who used magic to see into Finn's mind to discover the truth. And sure enough, the mage saw that Finn really wasn't the hero. Suddenly, a huge gust of wind blew through the room as Ignis's mother appeared in front of the king. She explained everything and told the king that Ignis was the true hero. Just then, the villain appeared and his soldiers surrounded the king. The villain revealed that he had put the king under a sleeping curse, which was only temporary, and that soon the entire kingdom would be his. Then he, his soldiers, and the king disappeared. Now terrified that his sister would be taken by the villain and his army, Finn vowed to become the hero the kingdom needed. To do this, he had to find the 4 elements, which would give him elemental powers. First, he went to the mountains where he met a girl named Crystal who could control ice. After defeating some of the villain's soldiers, Finn asked her to join him, and she accepted. Together, they went to a forest where they met a boy named Volt who could control lightning. Again, they defeated some of the villain's soldiers and asked Volt to join them. And again, he accepted. Next, they went to a desert where they met a girl named Ember who could control fire. Once again, they defeated some of the villain's soldiers and asked Ember to join them. And once again, she agreed. Finally, they went to a swamp where they met a boy named Clay who could control earth. Once again, they defeated some of the villain's soldiers and asked Clay to join them. And finally, Clay agreed. So now with 5 heroes, the search for the king began. On the way, they had to avoid the villain's soldiers, which wasn't easy because there were so many of them. But eventually, they found the king being held in a huge tower. The 5 heroes each used their powers to defeat the villain's soldiers that guarded the tower. And when they finally got inside, they found the villain waiting for them. The villain was a powerful dark mage, but together the 5 heroes were able to defeat him. With the villain gone, the king was freed and the kingdom saved. And afterwards, Finn and the others were celebrated as heroes. In the end, Finn realized that even though he didn't have any special powers, he was still a hero because he had saved the day. The end.